Yeah.
You know, because you play games like the year's almost over.
He's got a live stream going right now. We just got to stop the laughter in the background being just totally inappropriate.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Trooper First Class Pedro Muniz, Pedromuniz. Yesterday, January 2nd, at approximately 10:20 p.m., Troop C was notified of a house fire located at 44 Quality Ave in Summers. Summers Fire Department and troopers responded. After valiant efforts from the firefighters on scene, multiple victims were rescued, to include one adult. Unfortunately, 4 juveniles were pronounced deceased. The Connecticut State Police Fire and Explosion Investigation Unit and our Eastern District Major Crimes Squad were requested to assist with this investigation. The identities and ages of the deceased will be released once the autopsy has been completed by the OCME. At this time, it does not appear to be criminal in nature. Our hearts and prayers go out to the families and loved ones of the affected by this tragedy. The investigators have been and will continue to work tirelessly to determine the cause and origin of this fire. The family was connected with social services to assist them with whatever they may need, I'm going to hand it over to Chief Roach.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So again, my name is John Roach, Fire Chief, Town of Summers. Last name is Roach, R-O-A-C-H-E. Again, as Officer Muniz reported, we were dispatched around 10:20 last night for the structure fire, 44 Quality Avenue. The initial dispatch did include reports of occupants trapped on the second floor. Initial response had personnel on scene about 5 minutes after the time of call. At the time they arrived, the entire front of the house was heavily involved in fire. Additional fire and EMS resources were immediately requested to the scene. 2 rescue crews quickly attempted entry, one through the front door and a second crew from the rear. A third search was initiated shortly thereafter with the assistance of an aerial ladder through a second floor window. 2 juvenile victims were quickly located and removed from the house. One was pronounced deceased on scene, and the other was transported to Johnson Memorial Hospital, where they also unfortunately succumbed to their injuries. 2 other victims were found deceased a short time later inside the house. The house was an older construction with numerous concealed spaces, which allowed the fire to spread rapidly and took a considerable effort for us to extinguish. The fire was finally placed under control a little after midnight 56. In total, over 60 responders responded to this incident from 12 different agencies. We really want to thank out to all of our surrounding agencies and mutual aid partners that came and supported us last night. One of our firefighters was injured with a burn injury. Thankfully, they have been treated and released. Summers fire personnel are still on scene working with the Connecticut State Police Investigative Unit, trying to determine the origin and cause of this event. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to this family. The family has been contacted. They have requested that any monetary funds be donated to the Town of Summers Angel Fund, which can be mailed to 619 Main Street, Summers, Connecticut, or contacted through the Summers Human Services. Thank you.
That's all we have. Does anybody have any questions?
Have you guys found out the cause of the fire?
No, not yet. That's still under investigation.
Was confirm the ages of the children?
Not at this time until the autopsy has been completed.
Was there anything obvious, like a Christmas tree or space heater?
I think many of you have seen the house. It's pretty damaged. There's a lot of damage. It's going to take some time as our investigators sift through everything to determine that cause and origin.
Do you have the gender breakdown of the victims?
I do not at this time.
Have you been contacted by any of the family members of the victims?
The family is, we're in contact with social services, and social services in contact with the family.
Can you speak further on the surviving members?
There was 3 injured from the survivors, surviving members. One of them did have some serious burns and was treated. The other 2 had minor injuries.
All 3 adults?
Just one adult.
2 children.
One adult,
Chief.
2 children?
Chief, you had said earlier this morning that one of your rescue crews had some trouble accessing the back entrance. Was there clutter in the home? Can you explain a little bit more about
Yeah,
what
just
that was?
I can't get into full details without violating the privacy of how the house was set up, but one of the entrances was difficult for us to get in. So it took some extra effort and work for us to get into the back door.
Chief, could you talk about how challenging it was on firefighters? Honestly, very tragic, 4 people killed. Talk about the toll this is taken on the fire department?
Yeah, this is a small community, so everybody knows everybody else. So these obviously are 4 kids that are in our community. So it definitely hurts a lot of our members.
How are the firefighters doing who responded?
They're working through it. Sorry. Yeah, they're working through it. We've got a lot of resources for our members. We've got counseling services available, EAP, peer support team, so we're trying to put everything in place that we can. Opportunities, and a lot of it's just gonna be members coming down and talking with the other members and kind of walking through it and talking through it in their own time.
Some of your firefighters know the families?
Sure, yep. The kids are all in schools together, so.
Denise, do you know if the parents were home at the time of the fire, whether it's a babysitter situation, or was the entire family there?
I believe there was an older sibling that's an adult that was supervising the kids.
I apologize if you said this already, but just to clarify, how many people were in this two-family home?
So yes, so that house, for those that aren't familiar with it, is a 2-family house. The right side had 4 people home at the time. They all escaped without injury. The left side of the structure has 8 people living there. There are 7 that were home at the time of the fire, including 1 adult.
Any pets or anything like that? Or?
Unfortunately, they did have quite a few pets. That we were able to rescue 3 dogs, but there was a litter of dogs that we were not able to rescue in time. A litter of puppies.
You said one parent, so this was one parent with 7 children in the home?
I believe so, but we're still working out all the details.
Chief, can you speak to the community effort in that neighborhood, like when firefighters arrived, were neighbors trying to help those children?
Yes, there were. So some of the neighbors had tried getting out like fire extinguishers and were trying, but the volume of fire was just too great at that point in time.
And can you explain just the firefighting efforts again with the older house, had the balloon structure, how that?
Yeah, so it's a balloon frame. It's an older house. It's probably built 50s, early 60s. A lot of void spaces. It's an older house. Actually, it's even older than that. It's got tube and knob wiring, so it's really an old house. But it allowed the fire to very quickly travel from the first floor up to the second floor and spread, and it cut off the stairway, which made it egress almost impossible for the people on the second floor, which was part of the problem.
The older child who jumped out of the second floor window?
Yes, it was.
And Chief, obviously, I mean, you guys are professional. You have a job to do when you get there, and it's to put out the fire and get people out. But as you said, Summers, a close-knit, small community. It must be hard to sort of compartmentalize that. What are you going through today?
I think right now we're still in the response mode. We're still there. I mean, I literally just left the scene a half an hour ago. We're still trying to figure out what happened, why it happened. Try to give the family some answers and some closure. So we're still kind of in that go, go, go mode. I think it's gonna hit a lot of us in another 24 hours or so when we kind of settle down and the adrenaline stops, and now we have to kind of go back to kind of reality.
Maybe for the first selectman too, how are you receiving the news from the community? What are you hearing?
We're hearing that cash contributions would be appreciated by the family. Summers Social Services is assisting. The fire department has its own counseling system for firefighters. We haven't heard that much from the community yet, but I suspect there will be many calls very soon.
Summers will obviously come together and people rally and unite around each other.
Absolutely. Yes, we will.
Were all 4 children in the local school system?
They were.
Can you kind of talk about, Pedro, I don't know if this is for you, about what's next in the investigation? What can people kind of expect in the neighborhood at the house, when answers might come?
Yeah, I can't tell you exactly how long this investigation is going to take. I can tell you that, like I said earlier, the damage to the house was very significant. So for investigators to sift through that rubble, to sift through all that damage, to find that exact origin and cause of the fire is going to take some time. We ask anybody in the public, anybody that has any video of the fire as well, please email that or contact Eastern District Major Crimes or the Summers Resident Trooper so that we can get that video footage to the investigators as well. But yes, it's going to take some time for us to get that cause and origin of fire.
And Pedro, I know you said, it would take some time to determine the cause, but can you address the rumor that's out there that a Christmas tree was involved? Can you rule that out?
We can't rule that out right now. Again, we don't know if there was a Christmas tree involved. We don't know, if there was a Christmas tree involved, it was, burnt up. So they have to determine what caused that, fire. And they're gonna do their due diligence in determining that.
So it's, CSP's Fire and Explosion Unit in cooperation with the local fire marshal? Is that
Correct. We're working with, in coordination with the local fire marshal to determine this cause and origin of the fire.
Any idea when the autopsy will be, autopsies?
That is we're not 100% sure, but hopefully by the end of today, if not tomorrow.
I know we've touched upon this, but it is safe and confirmed to say that this was all part of one family.
Correct, yes.
Will the house be condemned?
Yes, I would assume so.
The
Yes.
building official has condemned the house.
And the family members are being assisted by Red Cross at this time?
American Red Cross and the social services.
Was that, older sibling the only adult in the house at the time?
Yes, there was one adult in the house.
And were there working smoke detectors?
Not able to determine that at this time.
We believe there may have been. Some of the members that were in the house did report that they heard the smoke detector sound. So we're still investigating that, but we believe that there may have been. In respect to the victims and some of their injuries and things like that, we haven't had an opportunity to really talk to the victims to get their statements as to exactly what's happened. So we want to give them a little bit of time before we barge in and start asking them a lot of questions, especially when some of them are younger. So that's why this is going to take a little longer.
Trooper, is there any reason to believe this is anything other than a total accident, any criminal
Yeah.
negligence or anything?
No, at this time we don't believe it's criminal in nature. That's all, guys. Thank you.
Is it a rental situation? Can you say that as like a landlord?
We wouldn't. It's. There's arson, just to see if there was any accelerants.
Thank you.
Thank you.